Intelo is a human-in-loop merchandising and planning platform which works with merchants, planners, and buyers to help them with different parts of their merchandising and planning lifecycle, all the way from using it for merchandise financial planning, where they might be doing their different parts of their core planning, to then coming in and being able to build out their assortment, to then helping them with in-season management, which is running replenishments, rebalancing, allocations, and all the aspects around that. And then, if required, kind of coming in and providing the demand forecast, analytics, newness forecasting, lost sales, and other items around that. Now, all these agents can be deployed as individual agents, which are available in a chat environment, as you see here, or can be available in Microsoft Teams or Slack or wherever the customer's preference is. Now, let's take a real use case. Let's say a customer is looking to work on their seasonal plan and they want to build out a merchandise assortment plan, right? So they could kind of initially what they might do is they might build a seed plan and they might come in and say create seed item plan or basically master assortment plan. And then Intelo at this point, beforehand itself, Intelo has worked in using Databricks ingestion engine to pull the data from the different customers, in this case, in this particular customer, and then pull out the sales data, the inventory data, the purchase order data, and all the other relevant information, and then hash it with information it has pulled from outside, including things like weather, events, demographic information, and some of the others, which it pulls through the Databricks ingestion engine into Intelo. Databricks is also Intelo's, data store. So we store all the data which we bring in from the customers and from the external data sources into Intelo. Now, coming back to this particular use case, the merchant, in this case, has got all the information they need to start doing their shopkeep drop decision, including recommendations from the agent, which they can work in a dashboard-like environment, an Excel-like environment, as you see, which they're very used to working. Or they can kind of come in and start making selections, like looking at it at a pictorial view where they can look at how the assortment is coming together and making decisions around it. They could simply, anytime they have a question on anything or they want to ask the agent about it, they can of course come in and ask, or they can come in and quickly ask a question to that particular context here, right? They can also come in and kind of think about external factors which might be impacting their planning. For example, I could just ask here, what macro trends should I consider? Should I consider here, right? Consider as part of my item planning, as part of my plan, and then the agent would basically look at the data we have ingested across customers and this particular customer's attributes and product and stores and things like that, and bring in trends which are actually relevant to their particular aspect. In this case, this is a apparel, high fashion customer demo example where you could actually come in and, for example, they're looking at, hey, how does the luxury good import tariff impact me? Or I could take any of this and really apply it to a new scenario. So I could come in and say, you know what, let's apply sustainability reporting requirements to my plan. And basically it goes ahead and applies and creates a new scenario for it. Now, what makes it very interesting overall is the ability to come in, and we also just use Databricks not just for kind of ingestion. We also use it as the compute engine. For example, in scenarios, if you go to things like in-season allocation and replenishment and rebalancing, where we have to solve complex problems, we run the compute engine of Databricks, and we kind of run an algorithm called CPStat, which kind of figures out constraints between different aspects, like, for example, what the demand for that particular item is, to what is the need for that particular item from an assortment perspective, what is the minimum display quantities which are needed for visual merchandising purposes, and things like that, and makes the right decision on allocation, especially when the supply is starved. And so that's another area we very extensively use Databricks for.